Let's pray. Thank you, loving Father. I just thank you for this opportunity, Lord, to stand in your presence, Lord, as we open your word. I pray, Lord, that you will speak to our hearts, Lord. Be with us and keep us in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So this week I was kind of struggling whether or not that I should preach or whether or not we should talk or have a conversation. And I think the latter is better. There is this YouTube video that I came across that I sent to Dean. There's a June 3 project, and they have conversations on different subjects, and you have a panel that they talk about, and they deemed it courageous conversations. Courageous conversations. So I think this morning I just want to have a courageous conversation today. And so what I do want to talk about is attracting the unchurched. Attracting the unchurched. Now, when we define the unchurched, Webster defines it as not belonging or connected with a church. George Barner offers insight on the unchurched. You know, the Barner survey that gives all the surveys for all the different things. He says that 46% of adults are now unchurched. And that was from 35% in 2005. Okay? Now, here's the one that got me. 62% of the unchurched consider themselves Christians. So they're Christians, They just don't belong to a church. They consider themselves Christians. 59% of Americans disconnect from church life either permanently or for a prolonged period of time between the age of 15 and 29. I think the stat says that if someone is not introduced to Jesus by the age of 21 or 20, that it becomes very difficult thereafter. 48% of the unchurched indicate that they are not connected to a church because it provides no value. And 40% of unchurched people said that they are open to trying a new church. So I want to have a courageous conversation this morning. When Chaplain St. Rose spoke for our anniversary a month ago, there was something that he said before he started preaching. I don't know if you remember, but it left an indelible print in my mind, and it has stuck with me. And he said that if you do this year what you did last year, you're not going to grow. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but that stuck with me. If we do this year what we did last year, we're not going to grow. So I asked the question, how do we grow as a church? Why are we even here every Saturday morning? What are we actively doing to accomplish our mission? Are we praying about it? And so, I just want to read from Luke chapter 15. And I'll read the first few verses from Luke chapter 15. And it says this, "Now the tax collectors and sinners, they were drawing near to him, and the Pharisees and the scribes grumbled, saying, 'This man receives sinners and eats with them.' So he told them this parable. What man of you having 100 sheep, if he has lost one of them, does not leave the 99 in the open country and go after the one that is lost until he finds it? And when he has found it, he lays it on his shoulders rejoicing. And when he comes home, he calls together his friends and his neighbors, saying to them, 'Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep that was lost.' Just so I tell you, there will be more joy in heaven over one sinner who repents more than 99 righteous persons that need no repentance." And so I remember the first time I read these verses, you know, we kind of jumped to the lost sheep and we tried to analyze that and see what the writer was trying to say and how we can apply that to my life. But when I first read the first verse, something stuck out to me that I just couldn't run past. And that is, now the tax collectors and sinners were all drawing near to him. Now you may not get it, but it stuck out to me that the sinners and tax collectors were drawing near to him. And the question occurred to me, what was it about Jesus that caused the tax collector and the sinners to draw near to him? Now, people are attracted to Jesus for different reasons. Maybe some people are attracted to Jesus because of what he can do for them. You know, Jesus healed the blind, he healed the lame, he raised the dead. People are attracted to Jesus for different reasons. But what is it about Jesus that made people were attracted to him? Now, all I know is that Jesus had a popularity among the outcasts of society. And I keep asking myself that, what question did Jesus possess that made the worst of sinners comfortable in his presence? And I ask the same question today, like, are the worst of people, are they comfortable in our presence? Are they comfortable coming to church? What is it that we need to do to attract the unchurched? So that's the question that I have. That's the discussion that I want to start, at least start the conversation today. How do we attract the unchurched? Is it a type of music that we play? Is it the type of program that we have? Do we need to hold some type of evangelistic meeting? You know, growing up, that was how we bring people into the church. We have a meeting and people come in. So I'm asking you, as a church, we are the church, right? One pastor put it this way when I was younger. He said that you and R, that's the church. If you remove the U and the R, you just have ch. So you are the church. Okay. So I just want to ask a question to you today, as HRM, as we think about our ministry for next year. What is it that we need to do to attract the unchurched? That's the question that I have for you guys.
Number one, I think, speaking in general, we are in the church. I believe we are comfortable. We are comfortable in a safe space in the church. So we need to get out of that comfort zone, I'm thinking. Because people in the public, in general, on church, they can turn on the television and be evangelized. You know, and it's convenient when they want or anything like that. You know, if they're hearing something they're not comfortable with, they have the choice of turning it off or tune further in. You know, so it's difficult for people or expect people to come in to the church. So when I say I believe we have to get out of our comfort zone. We have to do like Jesus, turn the tides. Because the people of the day were expected to come to the synagogue to hear what the word has to say. But here it is a man who came out, who is outside meeting us and talking about the things what the synagogue is talking about. And it is more down to earth. So maybe we need to get out of our comfort zone and go out there and speak to people, meet people, tend to seek the needs and so forth. And that will make a difference, I'm thinking. And they would still have the choice to, if they want to learn more, they would want to follow and come to in our service also. Thanks, sir.
So, Max and I had this conversation last week. I quoted to him the very quote that you just gave about if we continue to do what we're doing, we have zero growth. And I posted a question to him, how do we grow? Okay. Unfortunately, we have tabled it because it's a conversation he and I, we're gonna sit down, try to figure out what to do. What makes somebody comfortable around Jesus would be the same thing that bring them into the church. So I'm glad you put that up there as well. Now, for my own, for Stephen, this is what I am told at work. And Stephen, you just have a way of getting along with everybody. Everybody is at ease around you. Nobody is afraid to open up around you. Those same people, when I ask them, look, we have this organization going. If you want to, just meet with us, this is when we meet. And we are at, I get a polite, no. I ask my neighbors to say, we can talk about anything except politics and religion in my neighborhood. I personally believe that is the way to the relationship that I have with somebody. I invite them to our house. I talk to them at work. I am not a monster. There's no third eye or anything like that. And I do. Every week I invite somebody. People are, I don't know, brother. I figure I continue to do it, but it's not working, therefore I need to tack. I need to do something else. But it is a question that I asked, and in fact, this morning I almost asked the same question, because Fern and I, we talked about a church that started out about the same time we did, and they are exponentially one of our co-workers. They are way ahead. And the only difference I found was the day. It was the day. Are we too inconvenient?
Thanks, Stephen. Thanks, Stephen. Anyone else? Go ahead, Keith.
Well, we're all human, we all have needs. So if we could meet the needs of people out there, I think they'll come.
That's,
We just need to find out what that need is.
Amen. Thank you. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? Just share your thoughts. Like the purpose, it's just something in my spirit. Every time I preach, you hear me talk about the community and going out there and serving people and fighting for what's right and stuff. Because it's just something that's in my spirit that I just feel that we need to do. But I just feel this morning that at least we can begin the conversation just talking about it. Like as a church, if we think we're going to move forward in 2019, how are we going to approach that year? And we have to do something different than we did last year. Go ahead, Trish.
Okay, so first I just want to say that there have been a few times where the thought crossed my mind that we do a lot of talking about getting out into the community and helping, but we don't really do anything. But then, to give grace to us, we have had a lot of like emotional and psychological growth that we've obviously needed over the last year. We've had a lot of talks about how to approach certain situations with certain people and how to deal with those things internally and how to outwardly display that we've grown in that. So I'm going to say that we used this year to sharpen that, and that next year will be our opportunity to go out and use what we learned from each other. I think obviously going out and helping people that are in need is huge because there are so many people in need. Food, clothes, those things are an easy in because, I mean, people need that, that's a necessity. But then now using the opportunity to build relationships with people and like, for instance, the conversations that I don't know about other people, but I've seen like a lot of YouTube videos and things where people go out and they reach out to the homeless, and a lot of these homeless people are saying, I just want somebody to listen to me, I just want a conversation, I just want a friend, you know, and it's scary because then you feel like if you have somebody in a position like that that is now attached to you in a way that they can kind of try to rely on you, and then it can become a burden, like this person's always trying to contact me for help and things like that. But I think that lacking the relationship is going to hurt us. And then also the same for people that we work with and come in contact with. But one conversation that I was having with Junior one time, and we were talking about planting seeds, and we were saying how we think that God wants us to make something happen. Like it's up to us to make the people come, make it happen. But in reality, it's our responsibility to plant seeds. And I was talking about how, like, you know how evil, if you want to plant a seed in somebody's mind, like if you want to see a marriage sabotage, and you go to one of the spouses and you say, have you noticed, you know, she doesn't look at you like she used to, or you know, or he doesn't buy you anything anymore, and does he even care about you? You know, like those are seeds that we can plant, negative seeds that will grow, and people will start having doubt. People will start looking at, you know, their significant other in another light. That's the same way that we can plant positive seeds. You know what Jesus did for me today? Like, even if you know the person doesn't necessarily believe in Jesus, but just something real small and just plant a seed. And I've been planting seeds in my cousin for a while just by saying, you know, I swear I can't give it to anybody other than God today, because this is what happened. It'll be something real small, and I won't elaborate on it because I know she doesn't really want to hear that. But I have noticed within the last year, she'll post things on Facebook and say, I am blessed to have this family, or I feel blessed. These are words she never would have used before. And I'm not saying that, oh, it's because of me, but I'm just saying that those little seeds I feel like that I've planted just in conversations with her, that she's getting closer. And then lastly, I think that we also need to realize, just for our own emotions and sanity, that those seeds are going to take a while to grow. So while we're inviting people and we're planting these seeds and we're saying these things and we're doing these things in the community, we have to remember that sometimes it takes a while for God to work on them to the point that they're ready to move forward. But we just have to keep our eyes open, and when we see that somebody is ready to move forward, that's when we say, come on in. This will be a perfect opportunity for you to come to our church, because we talk about these things, and you know, people will listen and people will relate to you, and they'll open up to you just the way you want to open up to somebody. So I think little things like that, relationships, service, planting seeds, and also realizing that it takes time for individuals to be reached by God.
Thank you, Denise. You know what? Just want to talk a little bit about relationships, which you and Stephen talked about. The number one thing when you ask people why is it that they come to visit a church, they tell you because they have a relationship, because somebody invited them that they knew. That's the number one reason. No other reason but because of the relationship that you have. So I think relationships is a key. And about planting that seed, Denise, I think you're so right. I think about it in the farming process. You know, you plant the seed, you till the ground, you plant the seed, you kind of till around it, you water it, you know, you do all those things, and then when it starts growing, you start making sure the weeds around you protect it, and then the last step is harvest, right? It's all a process. Some of us will plant seeds, and some of us will do harvest. You know what I mean? So that's the process. You know, sometimes, like you said, some people are just not ready to do it yet. And then 5 years later, 6 years later, whatever, somebody else comes along and just reap that benefit. But it's because of the seed that you planted. You know, and so definitely right. The reason why I wanted to look at the lost sheep, because I think that in that parable, there is some character traits that I think that we can hold on to try to attract the unchurched. Now, when I look at it, this is how I see it in my eyes, okay? And you can look at it and find other things as well, right? But the number one thing that I saw, at least the one trait that I saw, was that you have to have a heart for the lost. You notice a shepherd had 100 sheep, and 99 was fine, but one was lost, right? He could have said, like, you know what, it's just one. But he could not rest. He had a heart for the lost. And I think for us, we need to have a heart for the lost, and we need to be passionate, right, about the lost. A lot of times that, you know, I've been in board meetings and I've been in other churches, I've been in discussion, and people get really passionate about just things that really don't matter. You know, I've heard people argue about what color the carpet needs to be, and people have hot debates about that stuff. And when we talk about all these other things about the church, and which is fine, I think you need church business and you need to talk about those things. But I guess the point I'm trying to make is that I don't see that same passion when it comes to talking about the people that are hurting out there that needs the Lord. I don't see that passion, you know, at least just from the things that I've seen. You know, we talk about the things that we want to see. People argue about music style and this, and we talk about all this stuff and have all these arguments and debates. But then when it comes to just having a heart for people, I mean, does it matter to you that people are out there hurting and are lost and don't know Jesus? Do you wake up in the morning and think about it? I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me too. Because I'm struggling. Because I call myself a Christian. But do I have a heart for people? Do I have a heart for the lost? People who just need to know who God is? Or do I just get so busy? Stephen talked about this morning that our lives are so busy because we have so many things on the table. And we don't have time. We trying to support our family, we trying to do this, and we got issues at work, we deal with this and we deal with that. We just busy. And sometimes we don't stop and think about somebody else who just needs our help and a helping hand. But if we say that we're Christian and we are here to seek and to attract the unchurched, we have to have a heart for people. And that's one of the things that I always pray for. Lord, give me a heart for the unsaved. Give me a heart for people. Because we are selfish. It's all about us and what I can do for my family and what I can do for me. And there's nothing wrong in taking care of your family. But I'm just saying that we are called to a higher calling. We need to have a heart for people. And I think the shepherd had a heart for the lost. He didn't say, well, that's one, I got 99, it's okay. If he's lost, he's lost. Nah, he went out and looked for that one lost. Because he had a heart for the lost. You cannot connect with people you don't consider. You can't connect with people you're not considering. And once you have a burden for the unchurched, it will change how you look at how you do church activities. You see, you can't love and serve your community if you don't know your community. We have to have a heart for people that are lost. Stephen, I think you had something to say? Or you were going to make a comment?
Am I hearing then that our mission then, objective is to go look for, because the sheep that the shepherd went out to find belonged and strayed. Is that what we're doing? Is that what you're postulating?
So let's talk about that. So what do you think, anyone?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
So you think, he said the shepherd the sheep that went out was one of the shepherds, so he went out and looked for it, right? So is that what I'm proposing that we should be doing?
Find
go down
former
and
church
find
members.
Oh.
Is that it? Find former church
Okay,
members.
go ahead, Trish, you were going to say something?
I don't know. When I hear you say like he went out to get that lost sheep, pretty loud. But that when he said to go out to get that lost sheep, and then he still had 99. Today, 99. Why go get that one? My thought process is because he thinks about that one sheep. And instead of thinking about anything outside of it, he's thinking that sheep is scared, that sheep is lonely, that sheep's gonna starve, and that sheep is vulnerable to predators. And I have to make sure that that sheep doesn't succumb to that. And nothing else mattered, how many I have or whatever, none of that. All he thought about was what that sheep is gonna be going through out there by itself. So I think that is the takeaway from me, is when we look at people, we think of that before anything else.
Okay. So, answer your question, Stephen. I can certainly see from that perspective what you said about that belongs to the shepherd, so he's looking, but I guess I wasn't looking at it from that perspective.
Okay.
I was looking at it from the perspective that people in general, who are hurt and in need, and like Trini said, that people who out there who needs a helping hand, and I think as part of our responsibility as Christians that we should be reaching out and finding those people. So there's more to what Trinice was talking about, more to than trying to bring people back into the fold that was former members or former this. You can certainly try to think about it from that perspective, but I was thinking in general. Sure.
After listening to them both, I'm thinking that we're so busy doing our own thing that we're not seeing the ones out there that need to know. And so you sometimes know about the one that you lose from among you, but you don't know about the ones that are out there. How can we go find those out and see who's out there that we can bring?
Go ahead.
So once more, Stephen's perspective, my view anyway, is not I'm not looking for anybody. Okay. You who I know, come share this joy with me. And you probably have the resource or the resources that can help me to magnify and to help me refine my search. Obviously, we who are here right now, for one reason or another, we don't possess that. But we can possess that catalyst, that one person who can come and can ignite. Give us the resource that we need, that we can move forward with this. So, honestly, I am not looking for anybody. I am not. I build through relationship. So the person I'm inviting is the person I know, and that person who I know would probably know somebody else. I don't know who to go there and find.
I got you. First.
And I'm thinking that if we start going to these places where these people who are in need, that when we start volunteering, we are starting to know them, so they become a part of this group that these guys are coming.
And that's exactly what I was trying to say. So, I was thinking about Fern because, at times, you're not going to go to a stranger in the street and say, hey, listen, I have something for you, right? It all starts with the relationship. So as we go out in the community and we build relationships and we start volunteering and doing things, we get to meet people. And getting to meet people, you build relationships, right? And then you find out that person's story. You find out that person's background, what's going on in their life. And that's when you can be able to help more assist them or point them into the direction that they need to go. But that's how you build a relationship. You got to get to know people, right? Go ahead.
One of my coworkers is about to leave and he's going to work in a facility where they treat people for opioid addiction. So I was trying to find out more about what she does. But the way I started is I told her, I said, our group has interest in helping people, and in this capacity, and maybe one day you could come and give us a lecture when we're ready for that. And so she said, yes, I'll be happy to come in and give you a lecture. So, but when I tried to inquire more about the people that these are working people, these are people who have health insurance and want treatment. So they are going through this program for whatever period of time in order to get back to their normal. So these are normal working people, not people out there that she's working.
You want to say something?
Yeah, I was thinking, like a farmer, as a crop farmer, he'll be planting seeds. He don't make the seeds grow. The seeds grow by the will of God because it's in good soil or wherever it falls, right? And like a fisherman, when he throws the net or the line, he doesn't make the fish take the bait. When he draws in, if there's any, there'll be fish. Okay? And like the livestock farmer, he went out because that one sheep was already belonged to the flock. And what I'm saying is that we're not setting ourselves up for disappointment because we tend to be, we want to go and work. And when we don't see the results, we tend to get disappointed and discouraged and everything. Because like I said, the crop farmer, when he, it's by nature, by God's will, the crop comes when you put the seed, and that's the important thing for us to put seed. And how do we do that? We speak to people. Like, I don't meet people as often as anyone else because I am a solo worker. And when I go to like the port, I have to go through security, and I'm always greeting the security and everything. And there's two of them, well, one especially, and she wants to come to worship here with us. But she lives all the way in Baltimore, number one, and she's accustomed of worshiping on Sundays, and that's when she have available. Okay, but she wants to come. Now I cannot be disappointed or this, that she can't make it, but I still put water on that seed by the way I greet her and give her spiritual thought, and be friendly with her and everything. Okay? And that is one way. I'm not saying to myself, okay, she can't make it, I'm going to be disappointed and all this thing. So we all have to continue putting seeds in the ground as such. And like I said, like the sheep that belong, we go out, if any one of us, or children or anything, go out there, and while we're out there, we see someone that's lost. We encourage them to know about Christ, but we can't be expecting them to take the bait to come back or to whatever. That is for the Holy Spirit to do, because I already know we could easily set ourselves up to be disappointed and be discouraged that way.
Okay. Sorry. So my father used to fish. Okay? And he fished out of a pot. He built these if you watch the Deadliest Catch, those kind of pots. And even with the Deadliest Catch, what do they do with the pots before they put them in? They got something in it. What do we have here that would make people want to come to us?
Relationship, all those things. And I think maybe you're looking at it from a perspective where all right, well now it's our daily duty to go out and try to find people to bring. But I think, yes, we need to step out of our comfort zone, but at the same time, you know your limitations as an individual. If you're better at just talking to the people that you know or that you come in contact with, then do that. If you are good at just talking to strangers and starting conversations with random people, then do that. Not for the sake of saying, hey, it might work for some people, but to say, hey, let me tell you about Jesus, but more like, and I've said in the past, hey, I really like your shoes, and hey, I really like your coat, and starting a conversation with them. And then maybe saying, and I know it makes a lot of people uncomfortable, with Facebook and social media it really helps, but if you don't use that, then obviously it's something different. But you could be like, hey, are you on Facebook? Or, hey, could we exchange numbers? Find something you have in common, maybe we can go fishing sometime, I'm just pulling something out of the air. Something that in your conversation you find that you have in common with them, become friends with them, have a relationship with them, and then start planting seeds, as opposed to going out to strangers and saying, you can do it that way too. It's just whatever your strong suit is, then I think you should just go with that. And then as a church altogether, when we start going out and feeding people and doing these things, maybe going to a soup kitchen, that's a really big way to start conversations with people. They encourage you to go and sit down with people while they eat and have conversations with them. Even for me, that's hard, and I pretty much talk to anybody. But things like that are important, as a group for us to do. But as individuals, just do whatever you do best to reach people. And by reaching people, I mean by starting a conversation that leads to a relationship.
Right. So let me just read this real quickly from this book that I have. Most of my books in my library is about community service and how you reach the community. So this book is called The Externally Focused Church. So here's some of the things about an externally focused church, right? It says they are inwardly strong, but outwardly focused. They integrate good deeds with good news into the life of the church. They value impact and influence in the community more than attendance. They seek to be salt, light, and leaven in the community. They see themselves as the soul of the community, And here's the big one that I think is said, they would be greatly missed by the community if they left. There's some churches who's been in the community for years, and if they left, the community will never know, because they never made inroads or impact in that community. And so these are just some of the things of an external focus church, right?